This is your Sleepless God back with what if Percy was trained by Hades and Persephone. Now, I got some good fucking news and maybe some bad news for some of you guys who like my videos, like, I don't know, like this. I don't know. I'm getting a computer because I just bought one because of, I got money now. I saved up enough to get like a decently good computer for my 3D printer. So I thought to myself, why? Okay, I'm making YouTube videos as well. Why don't I do that with my YouTube videos and edit videos on a computer now? And so you don't see trash content like I've listened to. It's bad sometimes. I listen to my videos too. I feel the torture sometimes when I like exhale into the microphone. Yeah, I know. I know it's bad. Trust me, I know. But don't hope on it. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, but it's shitty weather outside, so I fucking don't know. But let's start with the recap. Last time we left off, Percy, Annabeth, and Luke was basically packing up to go on the adventure of their lives. Even before Chiron even asked him, you need to see the oracle. He was already packing up. Stole a sword and a shield for basically necessary equipment if things break. He went to the oracle. The oracle told him that he's going to have to go to the east, find the god. He's going to find the god, and then after that, he's going to return the things, but he's going to fight a god that turned, and then his blades are going to be stolen with golden, as is going to be cursed to one day when he fights, his swords and his arms are going to grow weak. As after that, Annabeth, Percy, and Luke got into the adventure as Luke and Talia started talking as Percy was like talking to Annabeth, like, hey, do you think the first time they kiss, like did the clouds, did they get like a little bit stormy, or did they like electrocute? Did like the first time it's like do you think, like Percy's like, do you think they Annabeth's like, do you think they kiss around me? They act me like I'm their little child. It's like Percy's like, who's the father? It's like, I'm joking, Percy. I'm joking. Same as well. As they hopped into the cab, as they hopped onto the bus, as they got most of the way there, as Minotaur crashed into the bus, flipping it over, as Percy broke through the glass, as they fought the Minotaur, as Annabeth got injured by dislocating her shoulder when the Minotaur slams themselves into the bus as she flipped over and hit the bus and hit her shoulder the wrong way and dislocated it. As after the Minotaur got killed, Percy, Annabeth, and Luke all ran into the forest as Percy basically got a lower version of ambrosia to help Annabeth heal. As that's the last time we left off, let's start the video. As Annabeth has basically been recovering a little bit with the basically lower down version of the ambrosia, and the ambrosia that they kept, they haven't used yet, but they're still there for medical supplies. She's healed quite nicely. They're all very getting hungry, also really scared, because all they've been eating really for the past day and a half after the bus crash and they escaped, they've been making plans out, trying to get ready, and trucking through the forest is like things that Percy hunt. And another thing that Annabeth gets super fucking like weirded out by a little bit is Percy knows how to hunt very well. and instantly makes a wooden bow with some wooden arrows to hunt down these creatures and shoots the bow incredibly well. Now, Annabeth does not ever, ask him how he knows this because he knows how he's going to answer, and she doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe. She, first time saying that, yeah, believed him a little bit. Second time, third time, no. The orphanage shit, not true in her eyes, and she knows it's not true. Has to be. It can't be true. With the skills that he has saw, and the marks on the head of those two, and the different colored eyes, maybe a slight degree, but a different colored eyes, she thinks that he had to be trained by someone, or God took him in. As she gets a little bit suspicious, but as they keep on trekking through the forces, they finally got to like a road. As they see, it's starting to get night though. As they see a store like for statues. As Luke's like, that's probably a good place to see if we can, like maybe lay low, maybe. As they smell the food, is it so nice and friendly? As Annabeth is not attention. Percy's not but Luke is. Luke is very like, hey guys, you wanna go in there? As Annabeth's like, hey Luke, are you feeling okay? He's like, yeah, I'm feeling great. We probably should go in there though. As they follow him in there, a little bit like Percy instantly grabs his black blade, puts it into his pocket as he walks in. As they see a nice woman, as she has like a little like a weave around her. It's like, oh, sweeties, how are you doing? You look so like. It's like, why are you here? You look so hungry. You look so. Do you want food? As like Luke's like, oh yeah, we're starving. Do you have any food? Like, yeah, in the back. As they go into the back, as Annabeth sees something. As they see something live, something squirming. They hear like a muffled yell. It's like, as she keeps on talking, like, don't worry about that. It's just my it's just my cousin that he comes by sometimes. As they go into the counter, as instantaneously when they sit at a little table and she starts making sandwiches for them, and she puts one out of Luke. He doesn't eat it. Luke starts chewing. As when she sits down, instantaneously, Annabeth, Percy says, really? As she grabs the sandwich from Luke, poison, tosses away, and leans very close to her and looks him in the eyes. I know who you are, and I know the story. I'm sorry what my father did to you. As, why are you sorry? You didn't. Don't move. As he has his hand underneath the table, as she can feel the sword to her stomach. We have two options here. You can fight us and die. As Luke, that's when he snaps out. He's like, oh, fuck, what happened? Or, as Percy goes, you can walk away from this. You can live. You can run your store again. I don't care how many people you've killed. Monsters have to do a business as well. I understand that. It might be monstrous, but it is not capitalist. It's fallen under... But you have to let us go. As she looks at Percy in his eyes and says, "You have so much beautiful eyes, just like your father." As she grabs her little band and he's just like, "Fuck." As he tries to like slam it forward as he feels something like hit the blade, like something wooden and stable. As he realized she jumped up, pushed the bench forward. As he starts stabbing, it just pierces the bench. As he just says, "Fuck." As he twists his blade, all this is Percy's movement. As he just rips it up, slashes through the bench and the table, pushes the table forward, drops back as Luke grabs his sword and shield. As Annabeth says, "Close your eyes," as she grabs her knife and grabs her invisibility cap and like tries to, as Medusa, now she knows, grabs her by her arm and like chucks her 20 feet. As you hear Percy say, "Annabeth, are you okay?" As Annabeth's like, I'm fine. Just keep on going." As he's like looks at as Annabeth goes around her, as like Medusa's hair, as they all have to keep their eyes closed, but like Luke is okay with his eyes closed while he's fighting. He still feels like it's uneasy, but Percy, Annabeth is not at all. She's like, "Fuck, I don't know where anyone is. I don't know where anything is." As Percy though is like used to it. The darkness reminds him of just how he is. As he keeps on walking forward, walking side to side, as Medusa's like, "You could just come with me and live forever as a statue. Those eyes. Open those eyes." As Percy says, "Well, Medusa," as the shield covers his eyes as he opens them, he's like maybe 4 feet, as the snakes are all at him, as he sees Luke is pretty close as well. As Annabeth is getting closer, he says, "Medusa might take you up on that offer." As the snakes that were watching them point back at Percy, says, "Just got a question. Who's in the back?" As he says, "Charge!" As Annabeth slashes at her legs, cutting one of them off, as Luke, perfect swing, slashes her head off. Drop. Bang. Bong. As Medusa's body drop, as her head stays. As actually, does her head stay? No, her head's. I'm trying to remember the first book. I don't think her head stays. It disappears as well. Yeah, that was a movie thing, I think. That was awful. I still remember it. I still watched it. And I was like, when you watch something super bad, but you still remember all the movie parts because you're like, this was bad, but it was that bad. For a normal movie, it wasn't bad. For a Percy Jackson, it was like an adaptation of a Percy Jackson book that was like precious to most people's hearts. It was bad. It was bad. Even then, like, it was still like, it was weird. The movie's too, like, it was awkward. Okay, I didn't like it, especially Poker Face. The song is now ruined. It's not even a bad song, but it's ruined because of that fucking film. But let's get back. As everything turns into dust, as Annabeth looks at Percy, as Annabeth's like, "Great job distracting him." As he puts the angry, Luke says, "Yeah, sorry guys for acting when he's put his shields away." And he says, "Yeah, don't worry about it too much." But who's in the back? As Luke and Annabeth look at each other and says, "Well, there's only one way to find out." As they both start walking to the back, it's just a door and they hear slamming, like someone hitting the door with his shoulder, as they hear like also hooves, and they're like unlock the door and they creak it open as you see Grover. Grover push through the door. Like he has like his like mouth like basically tied up a little bit like a gag, and he has his hands tied up and his hoofs tied up as they're like Percy no, Annabeth and Luke both like look at him and say Grover as they like untie him and everything. They got my aunt. They got my Uncle Willie. What happened to Medusa? Is like as Percy like calmly says, we killed her. Like Grover looks at the new person on the team as stands up, brings out his hand and says, "I'm Grover Underwood." It says Percy Jackson as he has this smile on his face and he shakes his hand. He says, "Well, we probably should be going ahead and leaving this place as no, Medusa head was still there. Let me trash back a little bit as fuck. Oh yeah. Shit. Because he sent it and I was like, that could have been useful later, but still. Medusa's head is still there as Annabeth and Luke starts helping Grover up, getting him some actual food, like some good food that's not poisoned or anything like that. And as Percy is looking for the files, as he sees multiple deliveries to Mount Olympus and multiple deliveries to the underworld. And he says, I don't know if this was accidental. As he's like looks down the as he like his head like connects with his like his eyes, it just says those where those things came from. Oh shit. Didn't know at all that this came from that. As Percy's like freaking out a little bit because he's seen statues like this, like centaurs and stuff, centaurs, humans, heroes, looks like the same. As he's like, he thought it was just like naturally made and never really thought about it. As he's like, he looks up and he sees like the packing list for, well, the underworld. As he says, well, better send my old man a gift then if he wants statues so much. So he puts it back in, shoves the drawers back in, grabs 5 drachmas from the cash register, puts it in as he says. He grabs Medusa's head, puts it into a box, tapes it all up, and sends it to the underworld. And just sends it away. As Percy, Annabeth, and Grover start heading back to their trip. As they're still hungry, they're still starving. As they have some food still left. They actually wait, they're not starving, I should say, because they still have all the Annabeth packed a lot of food, Percy packed a lot of food, but they're now sharing it with a 4th person because of Grover. He usually just eats cans, but it's still food editing. Still has to figure that out. As they left the building, as this is where we're going to end it off. Hope you guys liked it. I will see you guys next time. Just remember, if the upload schedule is just a little bit weird, like see if I'm like gone for 4 days, just like don't worry about it. I just accidentally went on a Red Bull spree drink, passed out for 48 hours, and then forgot I had a life before then. So just keep it calm, okay? If sometimes I only post on the weekends. Something happened, aka alcohol. But I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.